Hello and welcome to the Too Much Time on Our Hands podcast. If you're joining us live on the stream, hello YouTubes. You are joining all four of us, the awesome foursome. We're not in the fuck bunker because, of course, lockdown restrictions, I mean, they're still there, sort of, but we're not taking any damn chances and neither should you. I mean, do what you like. It's absolutely fine. It's a free country. If you want to do that sort of thing, get on with it. Anyway, let's introduce the awesome foursome. We are, of course, the TMTOOH team. In one of the corners, you'll see Russ. Hello, Russ. Hello. In one of the corners, you'll see Duncan. Hello, Duncan.
Hello, Tom.
And in one of the other corners, the final one, you'll see Dan. Hello, Dan.
Had me at hello and welcome to the Too Much Time in the Hands podcast.
the Too Much Time Up Our Faces podcast is proud to be bringing you the fourth installment of the much vaunted series of films, the Redly Deadly saga, I think is probably the best way to describe this. And that's where basically...
It's a trilogy of 4 films.
it's the ever-expanding trilogy. It's basically like Star Wars. We're sort of expanding with Star Wars stories, but we've done what was the first one? The first one was Redly Deadly 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We
so
did
the first
news.
one was Redly Deadly 2.
Oh yeah.
Which was Don't Ask About the First One, which was the first Redly Deadly we did, which was where we put together a crack 90s action team in the same ilk as the Expendables, if you like. In the second installment of Redly Deadly, we did Redly Deadly, the original, which was
we asked about the first one.
Which was an 80s action film, basically in sort of same similar vein. Then we did a third installment of Redly Deadly, which was
video games, 90s video games,
90s video games.
Yeah.
And today we are going to be doing the fourth installment of the Redly Deadly saga, Redly Deadly Deeply, and we're going to be putting together the ultimate 90s rom-com ensemble cast with all your favorite characters and maybe a few that people have forgotten. I mean, I remember that at one point we had in one of the previous Redly Deadlies, the blind guy from Sneakers was in it, even very passing. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. So
he might make it to this one. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
It depends whether you class Sneakers as a rom-com.
No. More on that in a bit.
So that's the point. So we do have to lay down some ground rules. So with no further ado, I'll hand you down or up or to the right or to the left or down and diagonally or whichever way you can see us on the screen.
Pretty much none of the ones you mentioned.
Exactly. So I'm going to hand it over to Dan, who's going to lay down some of these ground rules. I'm going to hand it to Dan.
No. No, nearly.
No, the other one.
No, other way.
That's it.
Yay!
So
down that way.
So I groom up, Dan grooms down to me, and we sort of meet in the middle. Nice. Okay. So I'm going to hand over to Dan. He's going to hand over some ground rules.
Okay. So yeah, they got to be from 90s rom-coms. The characters have to be. We can have as many different actors as possible, but obviously different characters. But specifically rom-coms and the 90s. So anything that just doesn't fit, something like Bridget Jones, for example, won't make the list. We've come up with a little intro, and from there we're going to hope to blossom into what will be Redly Deadly Deeply. But other than that, there's not many ground rules in this one. Before we had Neo's a no-no. It's like people without Neo's a no-no. No one with special powers, but that doesn't really apply to rom-coms. It's just going to be a romantic comedy.
Also, it can't be films that have a romantic element. They have to specifically be a rom-com. So it can't be something...
There could be a lot of haranguing people with that's not a rom-com in this, which I'm personally going to enjoy a lot.
Yeah. First thing that I realised was, for someone that thought they'd watched a lot of 90s rom-coms, I've not watched that many. Like, I was going down a list of 90s rom-coms going, nope.
So you're getting into like the Lifetime TV movies?
Probably, yeah, to be fair. I've watched the good ones. Well, the ones that I think were good. That's the important thing.
See, that's fine. Personal choice. That's what it's all about, Dan. Personal choice.
Kind of hoping you guys carry me on this one. So,
if I looked up like.
Oh, see, I didn't realise we were just doing. We had to include the characters because, I just kind of considered actors from rom-coms.
You've done this before, right?
Yeah, but I forgot. I forgot we were meant to focus on the characters.
Yeah. So it's specifically the characters rather than actors. Cool.
Does it matter if we does it matter if at points we basically just go, the character that such and such plays
No.
rather than
Yeah.
remembering the name. Okay, good.
Fine.
Does it matter if we bumble through this in a half?
Tom. The one person we've mentioned so far is the blind guy from Sneakers, which should tell you everything. You should answer that question. Just that.
Isn't that how he's credited?
I've been really excited
Yes,
about
Russ,
tonight.
that's right, or wherever you are. Hello, Russ.
And in honor of tonight, I am drinking out of date beer
Yes.
in honor of Tom.
Nice.
Who brings
It's
it
all
up?
right. It'll come squirting out of you at a high velocity.
It's like
So-
2 weeks out of date, so it's not quite from the 90s.
And I wish you and your toilets all the luck in the world.
I'm pretty sure at my parents' house there probably is still beer that is from the 90s there. I would not be surprised.
I play. Yeah.
There you go. Shall I read out the rough idea we had for an intro to
Yes.
this film?
We've got like the synopsis. So if we were at like Miramax pitching this is what we'd say.
Yeah,
They would be so excited.
Yeah, they'd be really chuffed by this.
Sounds like
It's
you guys
like
have worked
ultimate-
everything out.
It's
So-
ultimate rom-com.
So we had Phil is a weatherman that's bit down on his luck, right? And he's out on his job, and he's staying in a hotel. He hires a prostitute, which turns out to be Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman. She wakes up, leaves the next morning, saying that she's got to go to a wedding. He gets up, he gets on a train, and then he's trying to find the wedding that she's at because he's realized he's madly in love with her. So that happens. He goes to the wrong wedding that one day. He wakes up the next morning and he has another chance to do the same thing. And he's got to find the right wedding. And whilst he's doing that, put couples together from other rom-coms.
And in one timeline he makes the train, and in another timeline he doesn't make the train, and that repeats. So there's 8 different endings.
We're
8,
going
10.
fractal with this.
Yeah,
Mm.
because it repeats.
Okay, so where do we want to go from there then? So Phil, the weatherman, is obviously Bill Murray from Groundhog Day.
But so is Phil the Weatherman an existing character from the Redley Deadly saga? Is he the one that jumped on the asteroid to save the world from the global warmings?
No, he's. Do we
Yes,
need?
'cause
Do we?
there was multiple
There's gotta
global
be
warmings.
continuity.
Okay, so we need someone from the original Redley Deadly 2.
Was Denzel Washington in any of them? Because he's got a character in Much Ado, and he could be.
I don't know. Like, Much Ado About Nothing is probably not going to make my top rom-coms of the 90s.
It's like
Sorry, Shakespeare, you prick.
It's like you haven't listened to all the previous Redley Deadlies in preparation for today's episode.
Who would have imagined? Sorry, Tom.
Okay, sorry, I've got some phone buzz. So I don't know where that's coming from.
Me, sorry.
It's coming from
Yeah,
the asteroids.
Yeah, there you go.
Global warmings.
So is there anyone that crossed over? Is there any characters from films? I suppose the only one you could have is Armageddon's got some like
Ben Affleck.
rom-com qualities, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Armageddon is
But did we pick
Redley.
Did we pick Rockhound though from Armageddon? Thinking about it,
Yes, he is in Redley Deadly 2.
yeah, he's the only one we picked, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's a bad choice then.
Is Bruce Willis in any 90s rom-coms?
No, Moonlighting was the last time we did like a rom-com, wasn't it?
I'm glad we're all so
He's not
prepared for
really-
this.
He's not really the sort of the go-to. That's not a physique that I want to see in rom-com situations.
Gerard Butler's in so many of them.
Yeah, but that is a physique that I wouldn't mind seeing in that sort of.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You like Gerard Butler?
I
Cool.
do like
Good to
Gerard
know.
Butler.
Cool. Okay, so we're not getting anywhere so far. Like,
Okay,
do-
right.
does-
So
Oh, there's a shock.
do we not think that Phil the Weatherman, the film should start with Phil the Weatherman
That's
commentating?
his full name, of course.
Phil the
Philip
Weatherman.
T.
yeah.
Weatherman.
Philip T. Weatherman. Yeah.
Commentating on the
on
stopping
the
of the climate
events.
warmings.
Exactly. Yeah. Stopping of the global warmings.
Yes.
That's how it should link in.
So the global warmings were stopped, but unfortunately, a tiny fragment of asteroid did make it through the atmosphere and take out that groundhog.
No, the grab. Okay, fine.
Punxsutawney Phil is still alive.
Yeah. So like
He's fine.
I think, I think it's got to be like that he's commentating on the events of the heroic people going up and saving us from global warming.
Yeah.
On the asteroid.
Yeah.
And then like, so it kind of automatically leads on from that film. And then
Well, maybe that could be the weird sort of cosmological event that triggers this time vortex.
Yes.
This is getting needlessly convoluted.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, this is a rom-com, right? Like this it's not a sci-fi film.
Okay. So how about this? Okay. So the global warming has all happened. It's all been tidied up. He's reporting on it like a couple of days after.
Yes.
Right. A couple of days after.
Yeah.
The woman played by Andie MacDowell, whose name I can't remember in that film, has by this point realised he's a bit of a dick.
She's called Janet T. News Presenter.
Okay, Janet T. News Presenter has left him already because Andie MacDowell and 90s rom-coms pretty much go hand in hand. So he's reporting on the fact that global warmings have all been tidied up.
Yeah, all been tidied up and put away.
All been tidied up, put back where they were and returned to Area 51 from where they escaped. And so what's he doing now? He's chasing after...
Well, he's a bit down.
Yeah,
so, I think he hires a prostitute.
Yeah.
Who turns out to be Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman.
Okay, now we're cooking with gasoline.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
So I think
someone write this down.
Now, what happens now then is that they spend the night together.
Yeah.
He falls in love with Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman. And when he wakes up, she's gone. Okay, so...
But she's left a note.
No, but they had a conversation the night before saying that she's got to get up early because she's got to go to a friend's wedding.
And she left a note confirming that.
No.
The note just says, remember what I said last night.
Yeah.
Ari last night's conversation. I'm going to a wedding.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that will work. 1 second, I'm being distracted. Yeah, I think... so does it need to have a note?
He needs to know where these weddings are, doesn't he? She left a wedding invitation and he grabs it and runs out into the street.
The wedding
but then
invitation.
He bumps into someone else who happens to be working at a wedding invitation printing shop.
Yeah,
and they
drop
scatter a whole bunch of wedding invitations into the air, and he doesn't know which one it is. So he's got like 6 wedding invitations in his hands.
And
all
of them.
And when he's
4 wedding invitations, Russ. Yes.
Yeah, I can't pick 6 people either.
And when he's picking up those 4, he finds a note. Okay, and on the note...
Why are you so obsessed with the note?
I don't know, I'm just trying to think
mysterious.
about... Isn't there a film called The Notebook? Is that
that's the 2000s.
Yeah, it's 2000s.
Trust me, if we were going 2000s, Girl Next Door would just be this film.
Didn't Shakespeare in Love have a note in it?
Probably, but why? I feel like we're focusing on the wrong thing.
Let him have a note. Yes, there's a note.
There's a note in it. Amongst all the wedding invitations, there is a note as well. Yes.
Good. Well, I'm glad we've finally all seen sense and realised.
So he's got 4 weddings to go to. Are they all at the same time? They can be, can't they?
Yes. So it's the same day.
So he has to pick one to go to.
He doesn't have 4 weddings to go to. He knows she's going to a wedding, but he doesn't know which wedding it is.
So he takes a guess and he chooses which one.
Yeah,
but that's the point. There's only 4 weddings in the sort of geographical area that she would be able to have gotten to had she left at the right time, knowing that most weddings usually start sort of either late morning or early afternoon. So he knows it's got to be one of those 4 weddings because every 90s rom-com needs a kind of MacGuffin sort of like, it's one of them.
Yeah. So
and then he finds a note. And then, forget it.
So
do it 3 or 4 more times. It'll start being funny.
He then hops on a train, goes to a wedding, and then the first day turns out he goes to the wrong wedding. But we'll come back to this because there'll be a couple that he has to get back together or do something with at some point as well.
Yeah. He always has to save or stop the wedding.
It's like let's add some more 90s into it. There's a hint of Quantum Leap in here as well. So then he goes home despondent, upset that he didn't find her, and then goes to sleep, wakes up. It's the same morning again, and he does the same thing.
Sees the same note.
Yes. the same note.
Yeah.
I love it. Just trying to keep Tom's attention here. Note.
Notes.
Yeah.
Note.
Yeah. And
But that'll be how he
then-
knows there's something weird going on, because he tore up that note and threw it away, and then when he wakes up,
Yes.
it's on the bedside table again.
Yes. And I think there'll be days when he doesn't even make it to the wedding.
But
Like
he meets,
something conspires.
like he meets Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character from She's All That, and they have to go off on he has to help him what's all that? She's All That. The
The
plot
makeover.
is the makeover.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so he
I mean,
has
the
to help
technical
in a
term is
makeover.
she's all thatting.
She's
Yeah.
All
So
That.
he needs
Yeah.
he needs Freddie Prinze Jr. to she's all that him.
Which
Yeah.
is basically what I've done to
To win the girl,
homage.
but yeah, sorry, Tom, I forgot. Don't speak when you're.
Don't speak when I'm speaking. That's what I said. No, but that's basically what I've done. So like, She's All Thatting is basically doing this. Like, okay, so
Oh
I'm
my
wearing
God,
glasses,
Tom, you're just so
I know.
plain all of a
You look
sudden.
so
I'm
plain
so
and
plain.
bookish.
but wait.
Oh man, I would. Oh my God.
Now that
Just surrounded by
now that
hotties,
your
Russ.
long hair has been cascaded down your shoulders.
Yeah.
Russ,
There we
can
go.
you not
See,
see how
that's
hot
She's
these
All
guys
Thatting.
are?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So at some point, no, I think he'll have to like. You could even like it be like a throwaway thing where like where Bill Murray sees Rachel Lee Cook. I don't remember any of the actual characters' names in these, and it's like, oh come on, man, she's gorgeous. Anyway,
I
Like,
believe she's
past
called
that.
Lainey.
Lainey.
Yeah, she's called Lainey Boggs.
What?
No, she isn't. That's ridiculous.
Fuck off.
No, she's called Lainey Boggs.
Oh, come
I've
on.
got the I have got.
Look, I love that.
IMDb.
Did her name get hotter as well?
She is called Lainey Boggs. Zach Siller.
What?
Zach Seiler, sorry, is what's his name?
Yeah.
Freddie Prinze
I've
Jr.
never been kissed
Freddie
as
Prinze
well.
Jr.
Yeah.
Duncan, just as a quick sort of cautionary FYI, we can see quite clearly in your glasses what you're looking at on the internet. So just, if you feel your attention's wandering, just bear that in mind.
It's one of the reasons I've taken my glasses off, because it's quite obvious if I put them on. Can you see the reflection of all the like movies from the 90s that are classed as rom-coms?
Mm.
I could just throw them in, like, oh well, of course, like as
So
good as it gets.
He's going to get
10
she's all
things I
batted
hate.
at some point, but maybe that's
Yeah.
when he's on his like upward arc after
Yeah.
hitting the lowest point. He needs to get himself put back together to go to the final wedding.
So, like all films are made, let's do this chronologically, shall we? So first day he wakes up. She's not there. He's like, I must go get her. I must win her over. I've got to go to a wedding. But which wedding? There are like he calls like one of his reporter friends, who is, by the way, the reporter from Independence Day still.
Yes.
Oh my
Like-
God!
Oh my God, yeah. Like,
Oh, Jeff,
not
oh God,
not a
really,
rom-com,
Jeff.
but there's always room for him.
Yeah.
So
Are you sure it's not wrong? I'm
no,
only
yeah,
joking.
Independence Day is a romantic comedy about a bomb and aliens. Yeah. um
Oh,
Jeff Goldblum, he does sort of like get back together with his wife, but not really explicitly, doesn't he? in
oh
that?
come on. Like if we let that through the door as a rom-com, Russ, the door is wide open
but
and then
Will Smith-
everything can come
Independence Day.
through.
Will Smith.
we've said it can't be like an awesome film with romantic undertones.
Yeah.
No.
And
So we
if
can't
if it doesn't feature a note either, can't have that.
I mean,
I
you're
like
going
the
to
fact you're
fucking love the
focusing on a
notebook, 'cause
note.
it's got a whole book full of notes.
Yeah, I was about to say. Hey,
Maybe,
not from this decade.
maybe it's Redly Deadly Deeply. She's all notes. Anyway,
She's
sorry,
all
I'm
never
derailing
been
us.
Noted. She's all never been noted.
Duly
Right, so-
noted. Sorry.
He wakes up and he hasn't got a suit for starters. So he just literally is hopping on a train in like joggers and like an old t-shirt. He hops on the train.
Because he wasn't planning on wearing a suit when he presented his
Hmm.
She's
weatherman
got a
show.
suit.
Yeah. Well, no, movie logic. Okay, he spilt something down the suit. Like the night
Yes.
before,
Yes, he did.
like they had ice cream or something,
Of
and he spilt ice cream down his suit.
course.
Right?
Yeah.
That one.
No, you just need something. Looking out for potential plot
Okay,
holes.
so as he hops on the train,
videos on YouTube of people pulling apart this otherwise impeccable, flawless plot.
as he hops on the train, in the first instance, he gets talking to Gwyneth Paltrow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they're talking about what they're going to do for the day. And then eventually he makes it to the wedding.
Yeah, well,
Do
a
you
wedding.
want- do
So
you-
he's
do you want-
like
yeah.
randomly picked one of his invitations.
Yeah.
He's just gone, oh, fuck it, I'll go to that one.
Okay, how can we fit this in? Because at some point we've got to fit the wedding singer in there.
Well, the wedding singer can be at any of these weddings.
But he's
Yeah,
from
I
the
mean,
80s, Russ.
But feasibly,
But the film is from the 90s.
film is from the 90s.
So he's just a fairly outdated wedding singer by this point.
Who?
Okay.
Billy Idol?
No,
Now, Adam
Sandler from the wedding
From the
singer.
Wedding
yeah.
Singer.
yeah.
Again, we
Sandler.
don't know his name.
Did I say
Adam
Sandler?
Sandler. I think this movie needs more Adam Sandler.
Yeah, he's trying to go up market.
What do you call his name?
Sandler,
Sandler.
like sand. Sandler.
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 Call him Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler.
Or Adam
Sandler.
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 Adam Sandler.
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 Wow, this
Sandler.
is going to keep the viewers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, just
Emma's now looking at me and you, Dan, like going, "What the actual are you saying? It's Sandler.
oh,
Where
I
is
bet
the
she says.
R?"
But Duncan, she probably says bath and grass as well, though, right?
Yeah, she does say Bath.
There you go, then.
Look, I've lost the argument, Dan. You will lose the argument. We're not having. this.
Okay, I tell you what, we're not going to do. Have that argument on the podcast. So, like, just keep going. It's okay. Adam Sandler
Adam Wedding
What?
Singer.
and yeah, Adam Wedding Singer. There you go. That'll do.
Wedding.
So he turns up at the first wedding, and it is an 80s themed wedding.
There you
With-
go.
The wedding singer
Yeah.
performing at it.
Billy Idol.
Yeah. And
And
it's
Billy
got-
Idol is a guest that they've rented.
yeah. And he's it's just there's a scene where he's just talking and he's going, I don't know, and I just met the love of my life and I just let her walk out the door and now I don't know what wedding she's at. And then like you see who he's talking to and it's Billy Idol.
Yes.
Billy Idol's going to give him some advice.
Yeah. He doesn't know
About
it's Billy
this.
Idol though.
Yeah.
He like does a little double take on the way out.
Yeah. There you
So
go.
who
like,
is getting married at this 80s themed wedding that is in the 90s?
is this a way we can include a rom-com from the 80s?
No.
Or is that
'Cause it's got to be
cheating?
90s rom-com.
No, that is
who-
against
who-
the law.
So who would want an 80s themed wedding?
Ben Stiller. From
Stiller.
Something About Mary.
Yeah, that could be quite
Yes,
cool.
because of course him and Mary met
At high
in
school.
the 80s at
Mhm.
high school, and maybe they wanted to recapture that sort of almost lost love
Yeah,
kind of thing
it's
before
an
he zipped his
80s high
snatches
school
up.
themed wedding.
Yes. There you go.
There you go. This thing just writes itself.
He's had his scrotum repaired. He's ready to go.
He's ready to go. Ted.
Yeah.
Ted. His name was Ted, wasn't it?
It may well be.
Yes. It was Ted or
It was
Teed.
Ted. It was Ted.
Ted.
Okay.
I can't believe
Ted
you're getting so
Kaczynski.
angry about people correctly pronouncing someone's name. Just like literally seething. I can't believe they're pronouncing Adam Sandler's
Just
name
don't-
absolutely correctly.
Got to admire Dan's integrity. He picks an issue,
So-
he picks a side, and he sticks with it.
Fucking
does.
notes. We were talking about notes for 5 fucking minutes. Okay, so like, come on.
This is
Cut me
comedy
some
gold.
slack.
If anything, our stream viewership has gone up since the notes were
Because you mentioned
involved.
notes a lot. Yeah.
They were like, at least someone around here is trying to get some structure and plot development in here. At least, you know.
So Philip T. Weatherman has rocked up at the wedding, and he doesn't know that he has the opportunity to go to other weddings at this point, does he? So he's devastated.
yeah.
So Billy Idol doesn't just give him some advice. He's like the mystical kind of twinkle in the
Yes.
eye.
Yes.
Oh, well, let's see about that, shall we? And he causes, not the asteroids, Billy Idol did it.
I've got to say, this is so 90s rom-com having some random celebrity
Yeah.
in it, just to be like the sort of, it's almost like you expect it like in a high school movie, isn't it? The janitor is always played by someone like some famous actor who turns around and kind of gives the wise advice.
So Billy Idol
Mhm.
did a song called Cyberpunk.
Okay.
And
but-
the RPG of Cyberpunk was a 90s thing, yeah?
okay. Are you going to just gloss over the fact that he also did a song called White Wedding?
No. Just hear me out.
Are you trying
This
to
is just-
explain how Billy Idol has mastery over time and space?
Yeah, and also how we can also get in Johnny Silverhand.
No. Do you know why? Because Neo is a no-no.
Neo's still
Neo's
a
a
no-no.
no-no.
Neo is a
Yeah, but
no-no
Keanu
throughout
Reeves
the
is
whole
in-
franchise.
But Keanu Reeves is in a Ujima flip.
A rom-com. Yeah, but he's not going to be. We're not going to be able to mention him in this because Neo is a no-no.
Neo is a no-no.
Which rom-com is Keanu Reeves in?
Oh, hang on, I've got to look it
Matrix.
I mean, that is a love story.
It's in Bram Stoker's
Um,
Dracula.
Speed.
Is it?
up. Oh no, so many hot men and much ado about nothing.
Keanu Reeves
and
must
Robert-
be in some rom-coms. He's definitely in some rom-coms.
He is. He's definitely in one. I can't remember what it's called though.
Much
So it
Ado
must have been
About
really
Nothing.
good. I get the feeling
Right,
that
come on, we're getting there. This thing is coming together. So he's turned up at the
So
first
we've done
wedding.
one wedding.
Yeah,
It's an
he's done the
80s high
first-
school reunion
Yes.
wedding with
Ben
Ted
Stiller
Mary.
and something about Mary getting
Cameron
married.
Cameron
Diaz.
Diaz.
Yeah.
The
yes.
wedding singer from The Wedding Singer is performing, and Philip T. Weatherman just
Yeah.
slumps down at the back, despondent, because he thought
Yeah.
this was his only chance
Yeah.
of finding his hooker with a heart of gold that he's fallen desperately in love with in the course of
To
a
the
few
tune
hours.
of "Do You Really Want to Hurt Me"
Yes.
by Culture Club. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Being
like the third
sung-
time that's being
Yeah.
sung
by Carol
Yes,
Decker.
there we
Sorry.
go. Being sung by
by
the Adam
Dan
Sandler
dressed as
wedding
Carol Decker.
singers. There we go.
and I am already.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we
As
go.
as the guy from and
So
also
he slumps down at the back. He's got a
yeah.
double whiskey. He's looking miserable. Somebody, you don't see their face, comes in next to him at the bar and asks him what's going on.
Yes,
Just has
So
silver hands.
and it's
And it's Billy Idol.
and it's Billy Idol. Yeah, okay, and then eventually Steve Buscemi's character kind of butts in between the two of them to talk. Because I want to include Steve Buscemi in this
Yeah.
because
He's wearing his costume as Rockhound from Armageddon, but nobody talks about it.
Oh, okay. Maybe this is the allowable cameo from a previous Deadly Deadly film.
okay,
This is
Yeah.
only set a couple of days after it, isn't it?
So Billy Idol basically sort of just tells us something, you never know, tomorrow's another day, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And as Philip T. Weatherman turns and sort of slumps away, Billy Idol just does a little twist of his hand in the air and there's a sort of twinkling noise. And Philip T. Weatherman sort of looks like something's happened, but he doesn't quite know what.
Mm.
He goes back
But-
to the bed and breakfast and
No, but
goes to
you
sleep.
wanted Steve Buscemi up there. He can come in going, well, isn't today a nice day for a white wedding?
Yeah.
I think there's a certain thing as
or-
making cameos a little bit too on the nose, and having him literally pop up going, "Guys, it's me, from the other one."
Or staying in character as Steve Buscemi's kind of rockhound persona. Maybe he could make some kind of drunken joke referencing a 90s action, a 90s rom-com title, and say something like, I don't know, this is what gives the Billy Idol character the idea to sort of allow him to travel to these other weddings. So something like, yeah, are you really sure that this is as good as it gets?
Ding.
Ding, and then he does the magic
Or-
funny hand thing.
Yeah, maybe Billy Idol's in on every day, like at the end of
Yes,
every day.
yes.
So like,
Billy Idol is God in
We've
this, is what we're
taken-
saying.
we've taken a minor character from one movie, set in the 80s,
Yeah.
and now he's in every day.
Yeah.
So basically, Billy Idol is Morgan Freeman in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Narrating everything, telling us kind of how it goes. And
So
yeah.
Philip T. Weatherman has gone back
Yep.
to his bed and breakfast,
Yep.
gone to sleep, utterly miserable.
Yeah.
Wakes up the next day, still feeling miserable. But what does he find on his bedside table?
a wedding invite.
No, the note, you utter dingbat.
Okay, let's rewind. Let's do that again. Russ, you say, and what does he find?
What
on his
does he
bedside
find on
table?
his bedside table?
The note.
The note.
The note.
Which he
Nice
doesn't
one.
quite
Well done.
twig. He just sort of looks at it in like a, thought I got rid of that way. And then quite definitely this time, rips it up, drops it in the waste paper basket,
Mm.
grabs the 4 wedding invitations exactly as he did before, and runs out. No, grabs the wedding invitation, runs outside, bumps into the person who worked at the wedding invitation printers. They all go up in the air exactly the same as before, and he picks them up. How did he pick
Funnels
which
them up.
wedding he's going to go to?
Well, what we've got to do, because this is the 90s rom-com, it's got to go in the same kind of way that Groundhog Day went again. So he goes back to the same wedding.
He needs a friend to talk to in a cafe. He needs like a confidant to go, I don't know, I just met this person. And then that person's going to go, well, like come up with a reason why he'd go to that wedding. He needs like a best buddy.
And I've got just the candidate.
Go on then.
Oh my God, Philip T. Weatherman.
What are my plans?
So he meets the guy with the scary voice from the Independence Day.
It can't be him. There's hundreds of rom-com characters.
Give me a sec. What about
I'm just saying he's a good option.
Paul Walker?
He's who he ends up with. Paul Walker.
Paul Walker, whose character in She's All That is Dean Sampson, who is Zack Snyder's best friend, who gives him the challenge of...
I'm just going to say that if he's just hanging out with his best mate, who was also in high school, I mean, this is Bill Murray. He was still like in his 30s or 40s in the 90s.
So I was actually
looking
at...
a little bit noncy.
I was looking at... No, he's not, because Tumblr wasn't there then.
What about if it's The Nutty Professor?
It's not a rom-com. How about it's...
It is.
How about...
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
I don't know. I mean, I was just looking at Ever After, because I think that counts as a romantic comedy.
Any John Cusack, whether it's Grosse Point Blank or High Fidelity.
I've got to say, I do consider Grosse Point Blank to be a rom-com.
It's definitely a rom-com.
Yeah,
definitely.
So he meets a John Cusack.
Yeah,
or maybe a few of them.
Yeah, they're different John Cusack every day.
A few John Cusacks sitting around the table.
Cusack or Arquette.
They've got to do something sort of semi-random to choose which. So like they put the 4 wedding invitations on the table in a circle, and they put like a salt cellar down and spin it, and whichever one points out he goes to, and it lands on a different one every day.
Yes.
And like you can just hear the faint echo of Billy Idol interfering with fate as it goes into the.
And he's singing like a really sort of stripped down version of White Wedding. You know, it's just a really kind of melodic kind of. It's a nice day to start again.
So his best mate's Alan Partridge.
And then on the way to one, he either so bear with me. He either makes the train or
it's always so scary when Duncan says "bear with me."
He either makes the train and goes to the wedding that he's intending to, or the train doors shut and he ends up at a completely different wedding.
Or even not a wedding. Like at some point, I was thinking he could go to a high school reunion.
But we've just done a high school reunion themed wedding.
Yeah, Ross, yeah.
Okay, so we'll kind of bookend them then. Probably.
Okay, so Ever After is all about Cinderella, basically. So he ends up listening to an old lady talking about her ancestors, because that is basically what Ever After is, and it cuts.
Isn't that the start of Titanic?
Yeah, but Drew Barrymore.
It's been 84 years.
I mean, we've got to get Drew Barrymore because she's in so many.
She's already been in it.
Has she?
She's the wedding singer. She should have been in it somewhere.
She should have been at the wedding with the wedding.
And we've got Never Been Kissed as well. We've got loads of Drew Barrymore stuff to work with.
All right, too much Drew Barrymore.
So
no.
He's going to the second wedding. I feel we're getting wildly off track here.
So he goes to the second wedding.
Yeah. So he's chosen the second wedding invitation to go to. So again, as far as he doesn't really remember the day before, I don't think. Maybe sort of faint, like he thinks it's a dream or something. He doesn't realise he's in a time loop yet. That'll be tomorrow.
I don't think.
And now Duncan, we can see you. He
sorry.
Goes to the second wedding. So whose wedding has he gone to on day number 2?
Blind guy from Sneakers.
Blind guy from Sneakers is getting married to.
The guy from Independence Day. No.
Oh my God, Jeff.
Yeah. So blind guy from Sneakers, who as far as we're not gay, is getting married to the gravelly voiced guy from Independence Day.
There you go. It writes itself, Russ.
It could be, yeah. But who's he getting married to? Because, I mean, I'm not.
We're not having the blind guy from Sneakers in it. I was just joking. Like, okay.
90s rom-com,
Mhm.
Chasing Amy, and we know that Holden McNeil, it's Banky, isn't it? Banky Edwards is gay. So it's them getting married. It's
not the blind guy from
Banky.
Sneakers. I think Chasing Amy's got to be in it.
Maybe it could be the wedding of because we know actually from the end of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back that what's their comic book writer mate's name?
I know you mean.
Yeah, and we know that him and Banky are a couple by the end of that.
Yeah.
At the end of that film, so it could be their wedding.
Maybe, or I don't know. Maybe we have the runaway bride who runs off to be with Joey. What's her face from Chasing Amy?
Mm-hmm.
Who does she play? It's Alyssa,
the main character.
Alyssa Jones. Is it
the
Alyssa?
main character?
Yeah.
Well,
I like that.
I think the runaway bride's got to be in there, considering that there's so many weddings.
So who's the runaway bride? Is Alyssa Jones?
The runaway bride's Julia Roberts. It's another Julia Roberts.
So Julia Roberts is running away from the wedding?
Well, so we can. So
she's the runaway bride.
She's going to run away at this wedding.
Yes,
but not yet.
Okay, so it's Alyssa Jones getting married to the. So it's Alyssa Jones getting married to the runaway bride, and the runaway bride runs away. Or is it literally just the wedding from Runaway Bride?
I was just thinking the wedding from Runaway Bride.
So that's Richard Gere, isn't it?
Yeah, that's who she runs towards, isn't it? Because Richard Gere's writing an article about her or something, isn't it?
Yeah, she's not getting married to him.
I'm sure it was something about a gerbil, wasn't it?
No, that's.
Yeah, he's writing it up because she's like run away from
loads of weddings. Yeah. That's.
See,
that's
as
nonsense.
I explain the plot of our film, I think it's Bobbins, but then Runaway Bride wasn't any better, was it?
No, but we're about to make it better.
We are. So the Runaway Bride wedding is happening, and I think at this point, this is where Philip T. Weatherman starts going into a sort of deep, downward, depressive. This is his low point. So maybe he gets, and then he sort of. So he's going to have a little kind of chat from Billy Idol at every wedding, obviously. But I think on this one, he gets very drunk in the evening, and it's sort of funny, but then sort of horrible.
I think that has to happen after the third one. I think
no, because the third one is going to be his redemption. That's when he's going to get She's All Vatted to get him ready for the fourth one.
So he finds her at the fourth one, and then. Okay, all right, fine, all right. I think
maybe he gets like he might get like a clue at the third one, even though there's only 4. And
would it be a clue on a note?
Could be. Well, we'll have to get there and see what happens. So maybe he causes the runaway bride to run away.
Oh, I like that.
To Richard Gere.
Yeah, he causes a scene at the wedding. Yeah, he gets really drunk. Throws up on the top table or something awful like that, and makes the runaway bride run away.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love the idea of him puking on the top table. That's really good.
Or like there's a bit where like he's got to hide from someone that he knows from the wedding. And then he hides in a room and he turns around and there's Julia Roberts from The Runaway Bride. And then there's a quick joke about, hey, you look really familiar. And but then like he starts talking to her and that she's having second thoughts about this other guy who's writing an article about how many people she's run away from at weddings.
And Philip T. Weatherman can do a big sort of speech about how it's important to find the person that you think is the one. And that's what he's trying to do. And it's not working out for him.
No.
And she listens to him and she runs away to Richard Gere.
Yeah.
Even though he was quite visibly a lot older than her in that movie.
And then as like he's driving away, as Richard Gere's driving her away in a car or like getting a taxi or something like that, Philip T. Weatherman looks in the front of the taxi and the taxi driver's Billy Idol.
Yes. Why is Philip T. Weatherman in the taxi with Richard Gere and Julia Roberts?
He just sees them run away.
Right, okay, yeah. So he hails the taxi for them or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So so the bride runs away, and he obviously dashes afterwards thinking, everything's shit, but I'll just go with her to see how this kind of pans out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
She gets into the cab and he stumbles drunkenly into the cab as well.
Yeah.
And okay, so then it's Billy Idol. He turns around, and so right, he's at the bottom of he's at the absolute nadir of this film right now. So now it's got to, what's the stirring speech going to be? Has it got to be that whole kind of you've come this far,
it's like a never giving up type thing.
Yeah,
we nearly died from global warming recently. You gotta think
Never
about
turn your back on love.
If the whole global warming's episode has shown us something, it's that life is too short. You never know when global warmings are going to get spilled onto the floor and really mess things up.
Because of when the Reds kind of take over.
Take over the asteroid and crash it into that bit of global warming's over there.
Yeah.
So you've got to hold on.
And so he's kind of slumped on the floor
in your heart,
leaning against the taxi maybe, and you hear like the door open and close, footsteps come round, the hand comes down, and then we pan up, and it's Billy fucking Idol.
That's when he drops it is a nice day for a white wedding.
Yeah.
And then winks.
This is when, and Philip T. Weatherman is like, hold on. Yeah. And it's when he realizes that he wasn't sort of just dreaming or sort of having weird deja vu. He has done this day before.
Yeah. And
Billy Idol gives him the big speech.
So then, late night coffee with the same or different John Cusack, depending on what film you want to choose.
It's got to be Martin Blank at the bottom. It's got to be Martin Blank.
You reckon?
It's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be because Martin's Blank goes through the up and the down, classic rom-com thing.
So at the start, then it's John Cusack from High Fidelity.
Yeah, definitely.
And then at the end, it's John Cusack from Grosse Pointe Blank.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like that. And like he's like confident, because I think John Cusack and Bill Murray would work quite well together in that kind of role.
I think they would.
Sort of
together.
Pseudo-intellectual kind of comedy babble.
Yeah,
just like backwards and forward, blah blah blah. Yeah,
it's very dry.
Oh yeah, it would be. Yeah, if it's perfect. Yeah, it's like the ultimate foil for him. And then maybe Jack Black from High Fidelity comes in at some point and sits down with him
with the top 5 tape.
Well, because of course it's the 90s, so Katrina and the Waves is going to be being played ironically somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Maybe just really small and out of focus in the background. Jack Black is just dancing his face off to Katrina and the Waves.
Oh my God!
While they're having this really heartfelt conversation.
There's got to be like a reverse moment with Bill Murray, Philip T. Weatherman, talking John Cusack from High Fidelity through his problems as well.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if John Cusack goes, look, I've revisited all my major relationships, and I got to tell you, like, it's not worth it. Just you do you. If you find someone that you genuinely care about, you hold on to them. That kind of thing at some point.
I love the idea that this is happening in alternate realities.
We can let like Reddit discuss that. Is it alternate realities? Is it a time loop? We don't know.
Absolutely. Can you imagine, like, if this eventually gets one of those everything wrong with Redly Deadly Deeply?
Every day.
Can you imagine the sins counter? Is
number one,
like,
the fact that it happened.
Yeah.
It's
so Billy Idol gives him could be something like he could say something like, there are some things in this universe that are more powerful than time and space itself, and he sends him back for a third night in the B&B.
Every morning when his alarm goes off, it's the next bit of "It's been one day since you're looking at me," and so it's the next bit every day. It just moves on and there's song.
So he wakes up on the third day, and I think so. This morning he sort of wakes up and he doesn't.
No, I'm not doing it.
He doesn't dare to look. But there's like a sort of faint glimmer of hope, and he sort of slowly turns round, and the note is there on the bedside table. And this time he knows that he destroyed it before, and he now knows that he's getting some sort of second shot at things.
But I think today's the day when he goes, no, I'm not. There's no such thing as fate. I'm not taking part in this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do something completely different today that doesn't involve this. But what does he do?
Today he rumbles Sandra Bullock in Whilst You Were Sleeping.
Oh, maybe
rumbles.
What do you mean he rumbles her?
Well, because so in Whilst You Were Sleeping.
Whilst you were sleeping as well, by the way.
Whatever, fuck it. Who cares? While you were sleeping.
Whilst thou was sleeping.
Whilst thou was sleeping, I tell thee, you shall love me. while you were whilst you were sleeping. I don't know. Where do I come from? Who knows? No one knows.
Maybe he decides to go visit a friend. Turns out she's at hospital waiting for this guy to wake up out of a coma. That
Yeah,
she,
but
she
in
saved.
this, the patient thinks Sandra Bullock is actually it's Bill Pullman. Thinks that Sandra Bullock is his fiance, but while you were sleeping, Bill Pullman's brother thinks there's something dodgy. And does she get rumbled or not?
I was
And
more
actually-
thinking that maybe Bill Murray turns up at the hospital and goes, I came as quickly as I could. I didn't know you were in a relationship. And then she explains the whole thing. And then Bill Pullman's character walks in. And maybe Bill Murray goes, he seems like a nice guy. And then like from there, like Sandra Bullock kind of just like starts to think about things.
And
she's fallen
And
in
he
love with
creates
the
the
bar.
relationship, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, he seems nice, and he's awake. So,
I'll create many things with Sandra Bullock. But anyway,
so you know,
That's a tick in the
1
box,
plus
isn't
1, when two become one. And that's it. And that's the song that sings them out, isn't it?
Yeah.
When two become one. That's it. And then the Spice Girls are like nurses on the ward, just for a
We
cameo.
need to
By the way,
get
at
we
some
need to
point we
shoehorn
also
in
need-
some more 90s sitcom
Music.
rom-com
Hmm.
like people. So like if
Okay,
we're having
so I want Doc Hollywood.
Doc Hollywood?
Gotta be, yeah, Doc Hollywood's got to
Yes.
be in it.
From
Michael,
what?
Michael J. Fox from Doc Hollywood.
from
Oh,
Doc
okay.
Hollywood.
I thought you
Doc
were thinking
Hollywood
of...
isn't his name.
Yeah. Or what's his name? Dr. Hollywood?
Dr.
Dr.
Hollywood.
Dr. Tim
Whose
T.
phone?
Dr. John T. Hollywood.
We've got to get so Mark Ruffalo needs to come in there at some point.
We also need to get some of the teenagers in there as well.
Garufalo. So we've got to have Garufalo. We've got to have.
Well, we've had have we had Freddie Prinze Jr. yet?
Well, Freddie
Not
Prinze
yet,
Jr.
no.
is going to She's All That Philip T. Weatherman. I don't know
Yes.
how many times I need to say that.
So somehow we need to fit She's All That, 10 Things I Hate About You, and Clueless into this as well.
Okay, so we've got to have Cher and is it Dion? I think Dion are the two friends from Clueless, and they've got to be able to have some kind of as if moment as well.
Hang on,
They've got to
there
be able
was
to have
another
that.
one.
Maybe one of them's
Drive Me Crazy.
I don't know anything about that film.
It's Melissa Joan Hart and Adrian Grenier.
Oh, Melissa Joan Hart, like
Yeah, but she's also Melissa. No, it's not Melissa Joan Hart. It's the one who plays Alex Mack in 10 Things I Hate About You, isn't it?
yeah, Melissa Joan Hart is Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Sabrina, or Clarissa Explains It All.
Yeah.
Yes,
She was like fucking 30 in that, by the way. So
I know.
like, yeah, it's
Is she? Did she get a cameo in the new Adventures of Sabrina?
I don't know, no idea. Probably not because it's edgy and it takes itself seriously.
I quite like it when you do that.
So we need.
It's his erotic poetry reading voice when he does his recitals at the
Ali
cafe.
Larter.
Do you remember Tim Key and Charlie Brooker with the Notebook? It's just I just imagine Dan sort of like chilling and erotic. It's just that was chilling, wasn't it?
Triggers plonker pinged out.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to do it. You've got to one day just suddenly like, and you know. And
I
Rodney's
don't
polka
think
dot.
the world is ready for Dan's erotic poetry. Sorry, Dan. Sensual poetry. I know you get upset if
Sensual,
people call it
yeah.
erotic.
I like porn stories personally, but there we go. Right, so where were we? So I'm just saying that there's this whole teenage side of romantic comedies we've got to fit in there somehow, and I'm thinking maybe one of them might be his daughter.
Philip T. Weatherman's.
Yeah.
Which would be Melissa Joan Hart.
Why Melissa Joan Hart? Why are you obsessed with this film? I've never even seen this film.
I'm just picking 90s teenage
We've got
thingies.
like loads of like Clueless. We've got
So Alicia Silverstone is a key
Yeah,
choice.
Alicia.
in this. I mean, that's why I think it's got to be Cher. Maybe it's Cher and Josh.
or
It's their
no,
wedding.
I know. You see, I'm thinking it's the what's her face from She's All That, who gets She's All Thatted.
Lainey
What?
from She's All
No.
That.
Lainey.
Lainey Boggs.
Yeah.
Lainey
The
Fox.
only name I'll remember from tonight, by the way. Just want to stress that.
Are we sure it's Lainey Boggs?
I mean, I feel we've all done this, but I'm also going to have to independently verify because that
Yeah.
just doesn't sound right.
'Cause, I
What?
mean, the amount of times we've taken
Laney
the piss.
Boggs. It is right.
I
It's on
100% believe you, but I also
Shut
won't
up,
believe
Ross.
you until I've
So
seen
you
it
looked
written
up
down.
IMDb and
I believe that. I
and
believe that.
I've just received a message, and no, it does not. We do not need more Yaya Ding Dong because that is not from the 90s.
It is indeed
What?
Laney Boggs. I mean, I knew you're right. It seems they're like, no, we need to give her a horrible name as well.
Yes, like she needs an ugly name because otherwise people just won't believe it.
I think Laney's quite a nice.
No, Laney's a nice
Laney's
name.
a nice name.
Pogs.
The lead singer of
bit.
the lead
We're
singer
going to
of
call you plural toilet.
the lead singer of Aqua was called Laney, wasn't she?
Laney is not
You're
the issue
so
here.
far off track now.
No, but I mean, Aqua could definitely be the band at one of these weddings.
We do
Oh,
need.
if-
We need
Turn back time.
Piece.
Yes.
We need sixpence none the richer because we do need.
We do need
Kiss
Sixpence None the
me,
Richer.
do, 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 do. And we also need Deep Blue something with the
Breakfast at Tiffany.
yeah.
Okay, the
Because-
way you said that, it really sounded like you couldn't remember what the last word
Oh,
is in that band's
and-
name. It's like they're Deep Blue something.
Well,
So yeah, and also we need Vertical Horizon because they're the ones she's everything you want. She's
And we also
everything
need the
you
The
Cardigans.
want.
soundtrack for this is going to be absolutely epic.
Yeah.
They're fucking amazing.
The
buy it.
soundtrack.
I'm pretty sure if
Might
I
be
asked my
better than the
wife, she
film.
would put together this soundtrack in about 2 minutes.
didn't Aqua do? Yeah, no, Aqua also did the.
They did the sliding doors. If only
Yeah,
I could
turn back time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
See what they did there.
I would stay for the night.
Although sliding doors it's not a turn back time situation, is it? It's a parallel reality
No,
situation.
but this is a turn back time
time.
situation.
This
And we
is.
will have
The
sliding doors,
wasn't,
so
so
we
we'll
have
have that
two-
song. Thank you.
And there will be
Correctly.
sliding doors, and we'll have the parallel because why not?
Well, I think the why not is because it would make it needlessly complicated and we'd run out of people to be in it.
Right. We're on
No, we
day
won't. There are so many people.
we're on day 3. We've got loads of Meg Ryans, we've got loads of Tom Hankses, loads of Hugh Grants, we've got loads of Andy McDowell's, and we've mentioned a film that she's actually in.
The
twice
wedding
now,
guests
two
are
different films.
90% Tom Hankses,
Yeah.
with the odd Hugh Grant chucked in there as well, and a Colin Firth or two.
So we're on day 3 where he decides not to go to his wedding. Maybe he goes to visit his daughter then.
Yes.
It's Mark Ruffalo as a wedding guest.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Sure.
definitely. He
Okay,
was
yeah.
all over the 90s rom
Could
com
be.
scene.
Could be.
Yeah.
Garofalo.
So
Also, the Wedding Crashers as well. That was 90s, wasn't it? No, it wasn't
No,
90s. Was
that
it?
was
that was
was way later.
noughties.
Heath Ledger should be one of their friends.
Oh my god! So
Definitely.
Cruise.
maybe he turns up at his daughter's school,
No.
and like Heath Ledger's just there, and like
Yes.
he's like a good-looking man, isn't he?
Mhm.
Heath
I'm not-
Ledger.
Yeah,
Yeah, very nice. But I'm also saying Jerry Maguire.
I had an idea for Jerry Maguire.
Oh, I thought you meant Tom Cruise should be one of the teenage friends.
Yeah, that's what
Oh,
I'm
God,
no.
Oh my god, no. He's old. He's so
Central.
old.
So so
It just gets a
on
bit
this day,
uncomfortable about
he
Katie
decides
Holmes.
he decides to do some admin,
Mhm.
and he calls his agent, who is
Who's his
Jerry
agent?
Maguire.
Yes.
Jerry Maguire.
Nice. Like
Sports
And Jerry
agent
Maguire- and Jerry
/ also
Maguire's-
weatherman.
But this is post Jerry Maguire, if that makes any sense. So he is at home, living the family life, really happy.
Repping,
And like-
repping weather forecasters.
Yeah, and he's moved on. He's branched out, and he's like telling him, "Look, you just if you find the one, you've just got to go for it." And like he's just like on the phone. Look, he's got kids running around his feet. His wife comes over, kisses him at one point as well, and it's like just like this idyllic, like stereotypical '90s lifestyle. And like and like this is Jerry Maguire saying this, who used to be like a cutthroat agent. And Philip T. Weatherman's just phoning to say, look, I need more money on the next role or something like that, on next weather thing.
The
I
next
have to
weather
do.
that I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what he's saying. Yeah,
So
What
this
I do,
this is part
world
of him,
weather.
his redemption
So-
arc, and he realizes what what really matters in life.
and
Yes,
it's not
definitely,
it's not being shown the money, is it?
No.
It's show me the love.
yeah,
Show me the love. Show me the love.
yes.
You had me at love. You had me at show.
Yeah, Like, maybe even he mentions that he's like, come on, we've just come out of a worldwide catastrophe where global warming nearly killed
Oh yeah, I forgot.
the Earth.
For some reason, I forgot that was the whole setup to this.
So,
should have
on this
written yourself a
third
note,
day,
Tom.
he basically has a bunch of sort of redemptive conversations with people.
Mm.
So he talks to his daughter, and he sees like new young love blossoming at their school. He sees Heath Ledger do his song around the baseball pitch.
Okay, so his daughter should be like Julia Stiles then from 10 Things I Hate About You.
It could be Alicia Silverstone.
That could be Alicia. Yeah, maybe he has to convince his daughter that there are more important things than like material objects.
Mm-hmm.
As well.
Like
which she
Heath
learned
Ledger.
from him.
Yeah, and that's what sets her on
Yeah.
the path to eventually embracing the love of her stepbrother.
And then he also he has this lovely
Shut up.
time with Jerry Maguire that
Yeah.
shows him the importance of sort of family life and moving past just
I mean,
chasing
day
money.
3 is really a box ticker, isn't it?
Yeah, but he has to go to a wedding on day 3, so he might know
reckon?
that this
No,
is
no.
not. I think he does.
Well, he just in the end decides to just
But
turn up at a wedding.
I think he has to. It's part of him like accepting the sort of the fate is playing a hand in things. So he has to go to a wedding, but I think maybe he knows that it's not the one that the hooker is going to be at.
Or maybe he decides not to go to a wedding and just completely randomly ends up at a funeral.
So we're in a sort of
Interesting.
3 weddings and a funeral situation.
Well, it's going to be 4 weddings and a funeral, isn't it? Currently, we're on 2 weddings and a funeral, but it will
Could
be
that
eventually.
be the point where he misses the train, and if he misses the train, he ends up at the funeral, and
Yeah.
if he makes the train, he goes to the wedding.
Yeah.
Misses
So it's
the train, but-
basically sounding like it's sounding like a life insurance advert at the moment.
Yeah.
So-
So if he misses the train, he ends up at a funeral.
If he
Right.
misses the
He
train,
looks one
gets
way and there's a
free
funeral,
park.
and then looks the other way and there's a pregnant woman being rushed into A&E, and they all exchange meaningful glances.
And he gets, and if it's a funeral, he gets a free Parker pen for inquiry.
Okay.
Yeah. And a carriage clock to go on the mantelpiece.
And but the symbolic bit, of course, is obviously all the other days he's been running around, like you said, in joggers and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
The symbolic moment is after the funeral, which of course tops off the sort of nadir of the film. The next morning, when he wakes up with the note next to him,
Yeah.
the suit comes on.
Guys,
Tie
Well,
goes up.
And he's straight on the phone to Freddie Prinze Jr.
can
Yeah.
I make a suggestion as to whose funeral it is?
Who's?
Billy Idol's.
But after
Heavens,
the funeral,
no.
he
Yeah.
still gets a pep talk from Billy Idol.
Yes, so Billy
What?
Idol becomes like this Jedi ghost type. Yeah.
He gets Force Ghost visited by Billy Idol.
This is fucking amazing.
This is gold. Right, so, but then the
Is this being
suits,
set in November? Because then, it could be raining at the funeral. And we could have
that famous
November
Billy
rain.
Idol song November Rain, yeah.
No, but then you have Guns N' Roses in there somewhere just for, hell of it.
Okay, so the
When
next,
did November?
the next morning,
that was 90s, wasn't it? November 8th.
the next morning he wakes up and maybe Billy Idol's wearing like a particular something that sets his suit aside from everyone else's suit, like the lapels or something, like a different color or something like that.
He's
Oh,
got
Something
that's
that-
mental.
It's a
mental
studded
light green
lapel.
lapels.
So he wakes. So when he wakes up the next morning, he opens like to go get his usual clothes, and in there is Billy Idol's suit.
with studded
Yes.
lapels.
Yes, yeah,
So
with studded
He
lapels.
puts
Yeah,
the suit on in his B&B. And he looks
Yes,
in the
this is
mirror and
not-
like the suit's amazing, but he's like
Yeah.
his hair's a mess. Whatever. He's like, no, this
Yeah.
won't do. Pulls out his flip phone, his Motorola flip phone,
Yeah.
and calls up Freddie Prinze Jr.
Who is one of his daughter's friends.
yes,
Who he
But
struck
very
a chord with
stylish.
the day before. So Freddie Prinze
Yeah.
Jr. and his team of like teenage stylists turn up, and there is a She's All Thatting montage of Philip T. Weatherman, soundtracked by what song?
Gonna need a montage.
No, that's got to be
Sorry.
she's everything you want.
Yes.
I think because it's the motivational.
Mm.
What are they called? remember what they're called. Terminal
Oh,
Lost
no,
Citizen?
come on.
Actually, I thought the Cardigans would be quite good for that. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know.
They were thinking of the
Actually,
totally different Cardigans song.
yeah.
It's what about David Gray, This Year's Love? That's got to be in this as well.
Yeah, that's quite good.
Yeah.
What about
I
Babylon?
mean, it's not. But
Man,
Wobble
Avalon.
Hotel.
Amalon. Ding.
Remember, that's one of the first riffs I learned.
So well, actually,
Ah.
we're going to need two songs. We need the song for the montage, and we need the song for him walking down the stairs in slow motion.
That's This Year's Love.
Yes,
By
that's
David Gray.
the reveal
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
him all groomed and looking wonderful in Billy Idol's amazingly lapelled suit.
Yeah. And the other one is C'est La Vie by Bewitched. No, I'm joking. But it's
What's it like? Do you know me, Da? I'm pretty sure that's actually one of the lyrics, isn't it?
no, it's Fight Like Me Dad.
Daniel, you just corrected somebody about a Bewitched lyric.
Yeah.
So who's really the winner here?
Walked into that one.
Right, so
Big fan.
This
big fan
time-
over here.
he picks up the wedding invitation and he knows that this is the correct wedding.
Yes.
And he goes outside and he just stops. And the guy from the wedding invitation printing shot just shoots past and he sort of nods. And now he
So-
knows he's going to the right place.
No, but shocker. He doesn't go to the right place, end up going to the right place. Because this is only the third wedding.
No, this is the fourth, isn't it?
No, this is the third wedding.
This is the
We've
fourth
had-
day.
We had two weddings.
Also,
and we
we're
had
an
a
hour
funeral.
into this already.
Yeah, we had two weddings and a funeral. So we need two more weddings. So he goes to this wedding for sure, knowing that this is the right one.
Mhm.
And it turns out it's not a wedding at all. It's a high school reunion
Themed like a wedding.
themed like a wedding. And
Right.
there's a guy that looks like Billy Idol.
I
But
feel
it's
this
not
is
him.
very much the act of the film that is going to get cut out because all the executives are going to go, you don't need 4 fucking weddings. What are you doing?
I'm not being funny, but Wet, Wet, Wet got to number 1 for 5 years on the basis of a film called 4 Fucking Weddings and a
Yeah,
Funeral.
but they
So
didn't
you
have a
do
whole
get 4
bunch of
weddings.
time-traveling Billy Idol set up to go into it as well. They were
Well,
straight into wedding
Maybe
number
it would
1.
have been a better film if that had
There
happened.
was a time-traveling Billy Idol in it.
Yeah, definitely.
Not to mention all the John Cusacks that we've got hanging around at bars.
To us, actually, in 4 weddings, if you just took out Andy McDowell and replaced her with Billy Idol, that would be a better movie. Literally,
Oh,
don't
100%.
change anything else. Costumes, dialogue, change nothing,
Not
but
even
it's
the
Billy
plot.
Idol.
We do have to
Not
have a moment where he wakes up just going, fuck, fuck, fuck.
I think the sex scene
Oh,
in
it's shit,
Four Weddings
isn't
and
it?
Funeral might be a bit.
Shit.
Yeah.
What, a bit
Might be a bit-
better?
I'm with you now, Duncan. Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. Like a Hugh Grant. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we
Or like
haven't had
a
Hugh
big
Grant.
sweary rant.
Yeah.
We go, shit.
Was it- What is it? He says, Paul Edge has just pointed out that there is literally a Bewitched song called Blame It on the Weatherman. It's a
Paul
very, it's a
Edge,
very good point.
your Bewitched knowledge, mate.
No, he's
It's
got a
greater
very
than
good point.
Dan's.
We had a 5-minute conversation about Bewitched and we didn't even mention that. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, there's a bit where he thinks it's Billy Idol,
Mhm.
but then he goes, "Oh, Billy, thanks," and it turns around, it's not Billy Idol, it's someone else.
Just
that
a-
looks
Andy
like-
just
McDowell.
It's
Yeah.
just a guy with.
Andy McDowell.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Andy McDowell. They're very interchangeable.
It's just Andy McDowell with what peroxide blonde hair.
It's just a strange hat, like a little
No,
fascinator. like people
who
wear at
should it
weddings.
be? Like a
I've got it. He puts his hand on
Oh,
some
what's
shot,
his name?
turns around. Oh my gosh, yeah, thanks.
Okay, so
Peroxide
who else
blonde
is
hair.
at this utterly unnecessary high school reunion that's themed like a wedding?
No. Who's
And also,
Oh,
why
what's
has he
the
ended up
actor's name?
there? And what is that adding to his
well,
arc?
Romy and Michelle are there for starters.
This bit's
okay,
definitely getting cut out of the final movie.
We've got to have the 4 weddings.
I think you're hooked up on this.
Yeah. I'm
Okay, so who else is there?
hooked
So
in.
obviously, all the John Cusacks are there.
All the John Cusacks are there, along with Jack Black and the other one called Dick, isn't he, from High Fidelity?
Who I remember is played by a guy I believe called Todd Loiseau.
Fucking
Wow.
hell, nice one.
Amazing name.
Fuck knows why.
Tom
Yeah.
hasn't got his glasses on, so you cannot see what he's looking at on the screen.
Yeah. think
He
it's
can't even
So
see what he's
all-
looking at.
All the
Sorry,
teenagers
boss.
there, they've snuck in. So all the
Jane,
the,
Silent
the
Bob are
Julia
there as well.
Stileses and that lot are there, and the Alicia Silverstones.
Yeah. Jane, Silent Bob, and everyone from Chasing Amy there as well.
Mhm.
nice like that, like
Definitely.
that.
Have we got people
Um,
like people like Sarah Michelle Gellar and Jennifer Love Hewitt? They should be knocking about somewhere, shouldn't they?
Probably they'll be there as
Ali
well. Yeah.
Larter, because
Ali-
she
yeah.
was Dawson's Creek and then was doing stuff. She was also in
You're
another.
just reading IMDb, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Because
I have
as you
just
know,
been
in
reading.
1991,
Did you know that her favorite color is topaz?
And she has a dog
Uh,
called Clarence.
She was in Legally Blonde.
So
I
you
do
are
have it
just
up.
reading.
No, but she was in
Legally Blonde
Dawson's
was
Creek.
not 90s, so it's inadmissible.
She was
So-
in Drive Me Crazy
hmm
and Final
This-
Destination.
I mean, you can read out any number of things from that page if you like.
We'll
So
see.
Final
Um,
Destination also very much not a rom-com.
Wasn't including it for a rom com.
he,
I didn't
he
realise.
gets talking to Jay and Silent Bob, right?
Mhm.
And he's talking about there's this
Sorry.
he gets there's this lady that he's fallen in love with. Turns out she's also a prostitute, and like that's when like Silent Bob pipes up, knowing like this is Silent Bob's like big speech in this film. He knows that who it is, and he knows what wedding it's at. So then,
And of course, he has to finish it off by saying, otherwise you're going to spend the rest of your life chasing Amy, so to speak.
Yes, there you go. So then,
Oh, yeah, look at that. Ooh, boo,
the-
boo, boo, boo.
the next morning, he wakes up. He knows what he's got to do. He gets the train. He goes to the right wedding. The wedding is between obviously Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks,
Obviously.
because we
Nice.
haven't mentioned them yet.
Yes,
It's a double
nice.
wedding with here Andy
Officiated
McDowell,
by Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal. Yeah.
Yes.
Is this is Sleepless in Seattle?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, cool.
And I think also because we haven't. It's apparently the Bewitched line is some people say I look like my dad. Apparently I got it wrong.
Ah.
Oh,
Um,
Thanks, Paul.
does that sting a bit? You've been taken down a bewitched peg or two.
Was that Paul again?
No.
Oh.
Your mad
But,
bewitched swag has been knocked.
Oh.
Don't worry, Dan. You can double denim it up tomorrow and just make yourself feel better.
Well, I'm still the leading font of knowledge of the Venga Boys, so that's the important thing for me. So that's good.
I'd also like to point out that in an earlier podcast, I was the one who shared the revelation that Usher changes his underwear daily, basically gets rid of it.
There was someone talking about they did that with socks. This is just
Why does it
Off
just
the
take them
rails.
off and burn them?
yeah. Okay, so
It's
He
like the
turns up-
most pathetic rich person's extravagance ever.
so
Especially if
he-
they buy like discount bulk socks and get them sort of delivered in a container.
who has been. I'm trying to desperately get us back on track. Who
You're the one that's injected an entirely unnecessary high school reunion subplot to this.
who is someone that's generally been a bad guy in these films?
Who plays like the shit boyfriend?
Yes,
In these things.
the one that is
The
guaranteed to cheat.
bad guy who will definitely
Yeah.
cheat on someone.
Hmm.
I'm thinking like a Peter Gallagher
just-
type.
Quickly
But-
scroll down
Yeah.
here. Just have a look.
Well,
Who
Hugh
w-
Grant.
Who was the
could
bad
be Hugh.
boyfriend? Who was the bad boyfriend in Sliding Doors? Who was he? Who played him?
What's his name? John Hannah.
No, he was a
Uh,
nice guy in Sliding
Was he? I
Doors.
thought he was the bad
He
guy.
was like wasn't he the sort of chirpy mate?
Because I'm getting him confused with John Hannah in Spartacus Blood and Sand, but he's definitely not.
No, so John Hannah was the good boyfriend. John Hannah was the
Oh,
one she
okay.
eventually ended up with. It was, I think it was John Lynch, wasn't it? John Lynch? Is he the shit
Mhm.
boyfriend?
Yes, I think he was.
Yeah, John Lynch. I'm just looking down. Yeah, it must be John Lynch. Bit creepy
it's-
looking.
Russ,
Yeah.
the stream's ended.
Let's see what's going on there.
Oh no.
10 asshole boyfriends in films. Let's have a look.
I thought you were saying 10 assholes.
I think we're back.
Yeah?
Do you know what I think that could have been? I think it could
We're
have been
back.
our incredibly inept production values.
Oh, yeah, look, there we are. That's better.
We're back. You join us now.
Oh,
Yeah,
now that is.
I think I hit the button to
that
put
is
the ending
good
thing up
shot.
early.
that'll do
Appalls.
it. That'll do it.
Okay, so we're back on. We're all here still. Don't worry, it's fine.
Is that going? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so we're at
yeah.
the-
Did it
So
just
we're at
go
the-
boo?
So we're at the third thing. It's the high school reunion. We're basically getting in all the young characters that we can possibly get in.
Done that already.
Right.
That was the day before, yeah?
Okay, cool. So we're now.
So-
I don't know how much we lost. So then we're at the third
Fourth
wedding.
Fourth wedding. Yeah.
Fourth day, third wedding, and it's Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan from
Yeah,
Citizen
Tom Hanks,
Seattle
Meg Ryan.
getting married.
Billy
Hmm.
Crystal's officiating.
Billy Crystal, yeah.
We didn't lose anything. It's just I clicked the button to start the exit music playing, and the thank you card came up, but we were still there.
Oh, were we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they could still hear us.
Oh,
Well, I
that's
don't know.
concerning.
nonsense.
Presumably, I think so. But we didn't know it was
Okay.
happening. We weren't slagging anyone off. That's
So,
what we do when we know we've ended it.
Here's a question. Did we say we're including Cruel Intentions?
Cruel Intentions is not a rom-com.
No, I don't think it is either.
It's-
It's not
It doesn't
exactly a
end.
rom.
It doesn't
No.
end very funnily.
It's not. It's a drama. It's like a drama thriller. It's definitely
It's
not a
a-
rom-com.
It's a remake of Dangerous Liaisons.
Yeah.
Les
there we
liaisons
go.
dangereuses.
Or Leslie.
Um,
Les.
Les. Les.
Les.
Les.
Les.
Les.
Okay, so it's the
all
guy
right,
from The Wedding Singer is Glenn. Apparently, he was a dick.
Glenn. Yes. it's
Glenn.
gotta
Oh,
be
with
him.
his DeLorean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Philip T. Weatherman turns up at the
Weatherman.
wedding. Weatherman, sorry,
Wait a minute.
turns up at the wedding. He's got Billy Idol's leather studded suit on.
Mhm.
He's got
Looking cool.
flowers. Yeah, he's looking cool.
Yeah.
Looking very cool. He's got flowers, and
Yeah.
he's at the right wedding, and he goes up to Julia Roberts, prostitute Julia Roberts, and he's about to hand her the flowers. She turns round, and she's like, "Philip," and then some guy comes and puts his arm around her.
Philip.
And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, yeah, shit.
Yeah. So then that goes on. There's a bit where she has to convince Meg Ryan that she wants to marry Tom Hanks.
Yeah. You really do.
and
He's really nice.
Remember what you
He's
told me
Tom
in all those
Hanks.
emails?
Yeah. Click.
Yeah, yeah. And so then they end up getting married probably. And
You're really reminding me of that episode of Always Sunny where they write the film. And Dennis is like, and then the film goes on and on and on until it just sort of ends.
it's a bit like my slash fiction was as well.
Yeah.
Which-
Here's
No.
yeah.
No,
It's going to have lots of penetrative sex, and here's the twist. We're going to show it, all of it, in graphic detail.
That's not a step that we're looking on taking on
No, we're not,
Redly
we're
Deadly
not.
Deeply.
no.
No.
Anyway, so he's despondent. He's out there. Tom Hanks comes up, puts his arm around him. He goes, "Look, these things just happen." She's been seeing this guy for a while now, and he walks in and he sees Glenn like
Mhm.
snogging. Like this is the plot of
Snogging.
Wedding Crashers, Wedding Singer, isn't it? Pretty much.
Basically.
Yeah,
Nothing
but
wrong
like, yeah, snogging this other lady who's like bar staff or something,
Yeah.
and he goes up and punches Glenn, I reckon, in this.
Mhm.
They have this big fight, and then
They could have the. Oh no, that's Bridget Jones's 2000s. Isn't it?
2000s, isn't it? Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
problem. regardless, though, they have a big fight.
But like,
And,
they're both really shit at fighting.
Yes, and it kind of spills out onto the floor, and she's there, and like he doesn't even mention the cheating. He just gets up and goes, "Look, we spent one night together, but it was the most magical night of my life. You are who I want to spend the rest of my life with." And then that's when She by Elvis Bacharach, the Elvis Costello version of She kind of kicks in the background, and like. She realizes that Glenn's a dick, and she wants to be with Philip T. Weatherman.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Force ghost of Billy Idol appears and looks over it, and he's over the other side of the room, but it's telepathy sort of thing, and says to him, "It's a nice day for the right wedding."
No, but he's actually on the organ, starting to play it.
Yes.
We've only just begun.
I think there's a bit where like I think they crash into the cake, the cake from the wedding. So I think there's a bit where Glenn. I think there's a bit where.
Sorry.
Fucking hell. I think there's a bit where Glenn tries to get up and Billy Idol does some like magic like Force ghost thing that knocks him over, and then the chandelier falls on his head or something and kills him.
Oh, I was going to say that he could like end up with someone else.
Who, Glenn?
Yeah.
Or Billy Idol?
Or no, he's been decapitated.
You do know Rowan Atkinson makes like.
Oh no, Rowan Atkinson's got to be one of the people officiating one of the weddings, definitely.
Yeah,
because
he's in quite a few rom-coms.
Yeah, so
and also he's got to be in it as a. Oh no, hang on, sorry, no, right, fine. No.
Can't we just have Hugh Grant as the dick?
No, because
Hugh Grant in the 90s
wasn't
wasn't a dick, was he? It wasn't until Bridget Jones's Diary.
But he knows about
he started playing
so.
But that's in real life.
Hard-edged characters.
So I think there's no. Okay, so Glenn doesn't get decapitated. Like,
all right, we're going to retcon that.
Yeah. Okay, so he meets someone equally as vapid as he is, and they're perfectly happy together.
Mm-hmm.
So then, Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman goes back with Philip T. Weatherman. They go back to the hotel room, and when they wake up the next morning, it's the next morning.
No, so they wake up the next morning.
Yeah.
And he turns over, and she's not there.
Yeah.
And there's a note.
Yeah.
And the note says,
"Yeah,
I've gone out to get breakfast." And then the door opens and she walks back in.
And then that's when
with an egg and McMuffin.
Yeah.
That's when Sonny
got
and
your
Cher's
double sausage.
That's when Sonny and Cher's "I've Got You, Babe" kicks in.
Yeah.
Like to end the film.
That's a good touch. I like that.
Have we had Hugh Grant in this yet?
Yeah, he's getting married or
been
something.
In a few places.
Oh yeah.
He's being charmingly befuddled somewhere.
Yeah.
He's all, I don't know. Hugh Grant in the 90s.
Do they meet on the train?
Sounds
And
like Boris Johnson.
Philip T. In one of the early ones, he helps them get to the wedding where it's the double wedding, and because Hugh Grant is going
Was there a double wedding?
shit. I don't know. Yeah, Dan was
Probably.
talking about double wedding.
I was trying to fit everyone that we hadn't talked about in.
Yeah, and so Hugh Grant is trying to get there, and Philip T. Weatherman helps him get there.
As the camera moves away and they're walking down the street, you see them walk past Gwyneth Paltrow and John Hannah.
Oh,
nice.
But it's not short-haired Gwyneth.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's long-haired. So at the actual we know is the real good ending, not the one where obviously.
And then "I've Got You, Babe" kind of kicks in, and then
and and then it starts splitting into four, and like splitting the screen, showing all the couples from the film.
Yeah, like little wedding
blissfully
snaps
happy.
from all of them.
Yes. Oh my God, this is
I
gold.
got you, babe.
Yeah.
I got you, babe.
This is fucking gold.
There you go, brilliant.
That is better than some 90s rom-coms.
It's better than any of those usual ensemble romantic comedy films from like the 2000s.
Oh, like
you know
New
what?
Year's Eve and all that.
Valentine's Day and New Year's Eve. It's better than all of them.
They are
And-
turbo awful.
And do you know what? We're not even going to get Richard Curtis to come on and direct. We're just going to have him as like a subsidiary writer.
Don't
Like,
need
Richard.
it. Don't it? We've seen enough of your films, mate. We can do it.
But we just want a few jokes, just a few jokes. Nothing major. No,
But
no
like, you know,
plot
like
rewrites. Just
good ones, like you did in the 90s.
yeah, just a couple of them. All right, just a couple of them, Richard. Really, really good ones. Really refine those 2 jokes, because we're not changing anything about this film.
I think this has become about Tom making
the
a point.
Act with the high school reunion in it that adds
Yeah,
nothing to the plot,
bit.
and just
Apart from that
seems like it's just there to shoehorn in a bunch of characters that we hadn't mentioned.
Yeah. You can do some writing for that bit because it's going to get cut, Richard. Okay?
He's had his redemptive
And
arc, and then there's half an hour of filler before he gets to the final thing.
And it finishes with a shot after it all pans out, and actually it comes out as a mosaic on the back of a really cool jacket that Billy Idol's wearing on a motorbike. He just turns around and says,
"In heaven."
Yeah.
And he just goes, "Love will always come around." Oh no, I had it. Ah, damn it! It was something to do with It was to do with
an Aerosmith song, or
no. Oh shit!
Lenny
I just
Kravitz?
thought of it. No. It wasn't a song. I was just thinking about a good line of going, "When it's true love, it will always come around for you." I don't know. It needs to be a cheesy line. I had it, and then we were just.
And then when there's like there's a post-credit sequence where he is literally on a cloud dancing by himself as well.
as a Force ghost, though. Still.
Yeah. Dancing with himself. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Surrounded with his own Force ghost.
But of course, no. But maybe because of the awful way he died, Glenn's Force ghost is there as well. Because obviously he just decapitated by a chandelier. I mean, it wasn't bad enough that he fell over. Literally, the chandelier head.
Yeah. Just in the background of the scene, you see his leg just twitching.
And it's actually Billy Idol's fault, really, because Billy Idol tripped him into the cake.
Yeah, but it turns out he only did it because he's in love with Glenn. So they're now in heaven.
Good things will always come around.
Very nice.
There we go.
Oh, no, love will always come around in the end. Sod it.
And the second post-credit
will always come around in the end. Sod it.
Then the second post-credit sequence is like the setup for Redley Deadly 3, the 2000s one.
I'm so confused. Okay, yeah, fine.
How is this not Redley Deadly 3?
No, because it's a spin-off, isn't it?
Why is it a spin-off?
After the Crown. Isn't it? I thought this was
Redley Deadly Resurrection.
This is Redley Deadly 4, I thought.
No, this is the 4th Redley Deadly we've done. We've done.
It goes
1,
2,
we've
1,
done 2,
3, 4.
No, it goes 2, 1, video games.
Why is the video games one not Redley Deadly 3?
Because it's video games. You can't have a sequel there. Like, we are losing people. I've a rate of knots now. Let's just wrap this up.
Let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
Okay,
right, do the thing.
So there we go. That is Redley Deadly Deeply, the 90s rom-com ensemble cast, all pulled together, all nicely and tied in a bow. At some point, some people are going to put this all together and package it into a nice film, and Michael Bay will direct it. Anyway, if you want to hit us up on any of our social media feeds to let us know if you enjoyed the show, and if you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to hit us up on any of our social media feeds, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under the same handle @TMTOOH. Don't forget, we've got our sister pod, Theatrical Cut. They're on Facebook and Instagram under the handle @TheatricalCutPod. And on that note, we're going to say goodbye to Russ.
Ta-ra.
Goodbye to Duncan.
Gute Nacht.
Goodbye to Dan.
Bye.
It's goodbye from me, Tom. And on that note, we will cue the music.
I'm going to actually do it properly this time.